Hey everybody, we're back to our normal Friday videos. Thank you guys so much for picking up the pattern for Pirate Goods. I think we're almost at 300 patterns sold for him. So this week is a normal video. We're doing some cool ID wallet from some Cedric from Buckle Guy. This stuff is absolutely gorgeous, and they sell it panelized, which even for us is really nice because this stuff is a little pricey in the full hide, and they also split it down. So it's actually been it's usually hard to kind of find this in usable wallet weights, but we're going to give it the go with this stuff. This pattern is also going to be hosted on a leatherworker in Ukraine's website. This is what the pattern looks like. I tried my best to do it kind of mimics the style of Tuesday's video. So if you get them both, you can make sets, you can make a bunch of stuff that matches, you know. And this one is going to be on Igor's website. Igor owns, I believe it's Balabanoff. I'm saying it wrong. Balabanoff Leather. The link will be in the description. Second link. You can grab this pattern. And the big thing with this one is I wanted to make an ID wallet or an ID pocket that was really simple to cut. So you're just going to need a 3/16 inch punch for this pattern, and you don't even cut out the square. So let's get into it. The cool thing, I honestly haven't used panels of leather that much, just because we usually buy full hides to make our production stuff with. But you can pretty much just butt this right up to the edge and have no real trim allowance, which is really nice. And I guess we should also announce the winner of the wet mold sets is Scott R. He's been contacted. I believe he's got his sets in the mail, and a bunch of you guys entered, so we're going to do plenty more of those. Buckle Guy is totally down to do it. It was super fun. And I also went to see all the molds being cut out because you guys bought them all up really fast. We weren't expecting that. And there's plenty in production, so in, I think, 2 weeks, they'll come back in stock. I think they have one of those notify me now buttons if you want to be notified. I'm notified for the octagonal ones because those are the ones that I don't have that I'd like to get, and they look really cool. So with this pattern, we're going to use 3 of these normal card pockets, and then we just need 1 of the ID slot pocket, and then we'll just get them all cut out, and I'll show you how to do the ID slot, the ID window. It's usually pretty difficult. I've had trouble with them before, but the way I did this one, I tried to make it super easy to cut out if you've never done an ID window before. Now, the question is always, do you put plastic in it or not? I personally don't put plastic in it, only because the plastic is not going to last nearly as long as the leather is. So, if you're like us, for a lifetime warranty, you're just going to be replacing plastic every 5 years. So, I'm not going to put any plastic in it. It holds the edge just fine. Yeah, so it's time to cut. You have a bunch of card pockets in a row. The way I like to do it is I just line them all up like this, and then I'm going to just freehand this cut. Well, actually, these are flat on top, so let's do a ruler cut first. We'll get them all lined up nice. And there will be trim allowance in the pattern. This is just the way I prefer to do it. But you will have trim allowances, so you can use different thicknesses in Skype if you want. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down the line one by one and cut our little shallow curves here. And these curves, this pocket shape isn't super aggressive, so it's going to, most of the card is going to be in the pocket. It's not going to have a lot showing. I always like to kind of vary that between pieces. Some designs it just feels more right to show a little bit more of the card. For functionality mostly, but for this piece, it just worked out nice to do a nice shallow curve here, and I think it looks really nice too. So you can see now we have all 3 of our card pockets cut out super easy, and we just need to cut these down the sides here. And there we go, 3 pockets done, our body done. So all we have to do next is our ID slot. So here's how we're going to do the ID window. The pattern, obviously this is the body piece, but it shows you where to line up all the pockets. But the ID pocket piece comes exactly like this. These are 3/16 inch holes, so instead of cutting out this whole thing, all I did was I just punched the holes in the pattern itself. Now, when I go to line this up, super, super simple because I'm horrible at these usually. But what we're going to do is we're just going to make sure that this is centered. And the only thing we're going to mark is just the holes with our 3/16 inch punch. There we go. Now, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to punch out these holes. And that's going to get our little rounded corners. So to cut this out, first of all, I'm not going to do any skiving, but if you're going to do any skiving, skive this first. Don't wait till you cut it out because it's a mess. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler to very carefully line up just the bottoms of these holes. And then we're going to cut this out with a new blade on the X-Acto if you're using an X-Acto, or just very sharp knife. And if you don't get it perfect first go, that's fine. On this one I tend to sneak up on it, but it really makes the whole process easy. Because this is always the thing I have the most trouble with, is just floating shapes in the middle of pieces. I'm not very good at cutting those. So I just tried to simplify it as much as I can for this pattern, so that if you've never tried this before, which it's not a super common design element in the kind of wallets that a lot of us make in this particular style of leather craft, but it's a pretty easy way to do it. So there we go, and you can see once we bevel it now, there's some fuzzies here, and you can see kind of where the punch was. But once we bevel this sharp edge, it'll be a really nice clean cut, and it's super easy. So let's get the beveling done next. So I did get some new edge bevelers. Well, we got some new edge bevelers from Buckle Guy that are really, really small, kind of French style edge bevelers, and I'm just learning how to use them. So if it's not perfect, it's not the tool, it's me. I'm used to the big kind of, I don't know, the ones that Weaver makes, whatever that style is. But the cool thing about using the punch is you don't have to bevel around the edge, because the punch kind of bevels it itself. So all you have to do is just take off the flat parts. And you can see once we get it sanded down now, you're never going to be able to tell that we used a punch. And I'm also going to be able to bevel the, these are really cool. I get stuck in my ways and I don't buy any new tools for a long time, and it's cool to have tools that allow you to do cool new stuff. So don't worry if you get a little bit scraggly on it. When we hit it with sandpaper, it'll be fine. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I am going to gently, and again, this isn't the tool, this is me not being good with this style yet. I haven't practiced with it. But they do come very sharp. And they also come with, like, it's cool, they come with like sandpaper and a little thing to sharpen up, keep them sharp, which is very thoughtful. Alright, so you guys requested it. I got one of the die markers, Buckle Guy sells them. I filled it with the Fiebing's Light Brown Pro Dye, as you can tell by my hands. So what I like to do is I like to keep some isopropyl alcohol. If you get dye on your hands, like, it always takes a little while to come off, but if you get something crazy like this, you can usually use rubbing alcohol to get most of it off, so that you're not getting it all over your projects. A lot of times you can just clean it all off, but that marker, I just filled it up for the first time, and not the easiest thing in the world, I'll tell you that. So, but it seems like it's going to work well. So, pop the top off. You have to like kind of press it down to get it loaded up, and then we're just gonna just do that. Oh wow, that's super easy. Alright, well, guess I'm going to be using this for the rest of my career. This is cool. Nice slick line. Hey, thanks guys. I see why you were all recommending it. That's really cool. Alright, so I'm just going to go around and do all these and get them burnished before we put it all together, because we're not going to be able to burnish these once everything is assembled. Alright, so this is definitely the most high contrast situation I could have gone with, but it looks okay. So next we're going to take our pattern and we're going to mark out where our pockets are going on the front. I'm just going to make little awl marks right underneath where the pockets line up, so we know where to glue to. Now on this one, on the ID slot, I'm only going to glue to, you see there's the curve there? I'm going to glue till there. Because the curve is made to kind of come up and make it easy to get your ID out when you need to take it out. And then what I'm also going to do is down here, I'm going to make a tiny X so that I know that this is the side that my ID window goes on. And then again, because this is Sedgwick, it's top coated, and so we need to scratch this up for our glue to stick. So we'll just rough this up a little bit. So one of you in the comments mentioned that the okay, so first I think it said it's toluene, and the toluene free barge smells like almonds. Apparently it's not cyanide. A bunch of people thought it was cyanide, but apparently because they use some sort of cashew oil or cashew something or other in a lot of glues, so that's probably what we're smelling.
Almond?
But, no, it was cashew.
It's cashew.
Yeah, it smells like almonds, but they said cashew.
Hmm.
Anyway, it is cool that people in the glue manufacturing process or world follow along. But we've been working with the toluene free stuff for a couple weeks now, and I gotta say it sticks just as good as the normal barge. I did a little research, and it was like jury's kind of still out on whether it's healthy or not for you. They just kind of put other stuff in it, but you know, for now, I'm gonna go through this container of it, and then we also have a container just the normal barge. We'll switch back to that, and just kind of whatever's in stock and available, we'll grab. All we're gonna do now is just glue these in, and we're gonna go side by side on this one because, gosh, having this entire thing glued up would be a nightmare. But also, because I'm going to show you a cool place to put your logo stamp, or your maker's mark, if you have one, before we put the pockets on the other side. So there's our regular pocket, and then we have our little X here, so we know that the ID window goes right here. And I left just a tiny bit of a trim allowance, but in the regular pattern there will be more of one, so you can choose as much as you'd like to use. So this is where I like to put the branding, because when there's nothing in it, it's like, whoa, your whole logo right there. But as soon as you put a card in it, obviously, totally covered up. So I like that on this one. You know, we don't usually do a lot of like super prominent branding, but it's nice for a change. So now all we have to do is glue the pockets up on the other and put them on the other side, and we're ready to stitch. So I'm going to bring this over to the drum sander and sand it around, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to nip off these corners here a little bit. I'm not going to do a curved corner, but I like to take off these corners because if you leave them super sharp, eventually they'll just kind of like fold over and look bad while it's used. So I'll be back, and then it's time to stitch. You see here how with the spacing and stuff, my stitch line, if I were to go one more, it would be kind of past where I want it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that there, and then I'm just going to start my next stitch line where I need it to be. And now that's not going to give us identical spacing, but you're never going to notice it. And it's a way to evenly space everything out. Once I get here though, I'm going to start from this corner. And then I'm going to try to get it so that we're hanging over, yeah, there we go. So we'll stitch up to here, and then we'll kind of weave it under there. Now we just need to make sure that we're about even, which we should be. Alright, so let me show you how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to take my needle, and I'm actually going to go under the flap and through, see? Then on the other side, you should have, if it's spaced out right, you should have a hole before the pocket on the inside that lines up to go through the first hole in the ID slot. And that's all there is to it. And so now we basically just keep sewing. So you see how we're not going to have an overlap there. And you can put the overlap if you would like. If you want to overlap the thread, go for it. It's just my personal preference. I think it looks really clean. And that's all there is to it there. It's super simple. And here we go. Yeah, so nice, easy pattern, but if you've never done an ID window before, you get to try it out the easy way. So remember, the pattern, this is going to be hosted on Igor's website, and all the cash is going to him. They're in Ukraine, so we can help them out. I think he's already got, he has some employees. I think he's already got a car, and one of his employees were able to bring her grandparents over the Polish border to safety, that sort of thing. So you guys really stepped up with Pirates pattern, and it's been really cool to see everybody posting their versions on Instagram. So I look forward to this one too, because this is a little bit more detailed. So I'm interested what you're going to do with colors and stuff. But ours came out very like 1970s shag carpet, which I'm okay with. I did like using that dye marker. I have to practice with it a little bit. I got a little bobbly on it, but first time using it, so that's cool. And yeah, this is what it looks like this is Wiggett and Craig's Navy Bridal. And both of these are like 3 ounce, 3 ounce, maybe, well, not 2, 3.5 ounces, no skiving. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Description has the links to materials and the links to the pattern. Please go check out their website, pick up this pattern. It's an easy way to send direct aid over to our friends in Ukraine who also do leather work but can't work right now. We'll see you in the next one.